Let's switch to the what has been the dominant national political issue of the last few days, of course. We spoke about it a lot on this program last night, and that is South Australia's blackouts and the debate about renewables. You know that I've demonstrated to you with some experts that obviously the energy mix in South Australia played a big role in why the whole state went down. Bill Shorten says Malcolm Turnbull and Josh Frydenberg are basically playing politics by drawing attention to those issues now. Have a look.
I want to say very clearly, Labor is up for a discussion about a national energy market, but do it at the right time. I think it is, Rule 101 of natural disaster is the politicians should not play politics. Playing politics and trying to blame renewable energy for the storm and the damage it caused by Malcolm Turnbull, to me, was exactly the lack of leadership, and Australians don't expect that from their leaders.
Bit rich there, don't you think, Nicholas? Talking about politicising a natural disaster. They're politicising a blackout, a whole state blacked out because one series of transmission lines in the sparsely populated north of the state were taken down.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I think Bill Shorten probably could have started that press conference by saying Malcolm Turnbull started it. I mean, he was out there the morning after this terrible incident in South Australia playing politics, saying it was all about, South Australia's ambitious renewable targets, when anybody who knows anything about electrical engineering would tell you that, in fact, the reason why the lights went out in South Australia is because they had a 1 in 50-year storm and they had 20 transmission towers go down. But there are just people out there who have got this weird ideological bent against renewable energy, who don't seem to want to face up to the fact that we need to transition as an economy, as an energy system towards renewable power, and sort of saw this as some bizarre opportunity to attack renewable energy.
Yeah, it's a strange argument you mount, Nicholas, because under that sort of logic, every time transmission towers were taken down in South Australia previously, the whole state would have been blacked out for up to 24 hours, or indeed when cyclones have taken out transmission towers in Queensland, or we've had bushfires in Victoria. To knock out a whole state because some transmission towers in a sparsely populated part of the state where there actually isn't any generation anymore. I mean, the problem here is that it tripped out the interconnector, and because of renewables, South Australia is almost totally reliant now on that interconnector feeding in coal-fired power from your home state of Victoria.
Well, I don't think it was just some transmission towers. It was over 20 transmission towers. And I make the point again, it was a 1 in 50-year freak storm. Yes, the introduction of renewable energy into an energy system does present challenges. There's technical challenges there.
Say that again.
They are more than surmountable. They are more than surmountable. And for you to try and say that the reason why South Australia had that blackout was because of its commitment to renewable energy is a gross misrepresentation of the facts and the engineering science behind the electricity generation system.
Well, there'll be a report that will detail all that, and you'll find that, of course, it's played a huge role in what's unfolded here. And in fact, I was on this program 2.5 months ago warning that South Australia had a real electricity crisis because it just doesn't have enough domestic generation, and it's so reliant on that interconnector, Christine. And Bill Shorten, in effect, has conceded that, saying there needs to be reform of this nationally. Do you think this is going to slow down the other states, Victoria in particular, and Queensland, who have up till now talked about having massive renewable expansions themselves?
Well, I think it's a great wake-up call for the nation, and I think it is a debate that we all have to have, each state has to have, and it's not just around renewables, it's around coal, it's around gas and nuclear, absolutely. And if this serves as a catalyst for us to have that debate, and there's no doubt about it, Chris. Look, politicise it, sure. It is politicising, but it is a worthwhile debate for us to be
absolutely
having.
Well, as I said, I've been talking about these issues on this program for a couple of months because of another crisis South Australia went through, and obviously it's a warning to other states. This blackout, sure, towers were knocked down by a storm, but the fact that it spread right across the state state. The whole state was blacked out, and for some of them up to 24 hours or more. The massive social cost and economic cost is the trigger to have this debate much more seriously and some reform.
And that is the crux of the debate with renewables is the cost. That's what we have to be talking about. What is the cost to the consumer? What is the cost to the system?
What scares me about this, Nicholas, this is really scary as a consumer. I mean, I hate the way that renewables are subsidised already. We know that's why they get built, because they're subsidised. But there are quite serious voices in this debate, people who understand the systems very well, and people who are very much in favour of renewable energy. What they're saying now is that in order to make sure you have enough investment in the backup capacity in coal, or more likely gas generators to back up the renewables when there is no wind or when there's a storm or the like, that we might need to subsidise the gas and coal generators as well. So you have sort of highly subsidised renewables and subsidised backup. I mean, this is just going to push the costs even higher, of course.
Look, I haven't heard that argument, Chris, but look, I think you and I will agree on one point, that let's see what the report says. Let's see what the experts tell us about what the issue was. I also agree with you that you should never waste a crisis, and this blackout in South Australia should be an opportunity to look at the operations of the national electricity market and work out ways in which we can make it more secure. It is true that we have a sort of hodgepodge of different renewable targets amongst the states. Those targets came about really out of frustration that not enough was happening at the national level. So let's try and see a bit of give and take at the state and national level from the coalition and from Labor to try and get a more secure, better price system that also continues to advance us along the road to greater reliance on renewable energy, because we all know that's where we need to get to.
Yeah, look out for this issue.
Another.
This issue is going to get bigger and bigger in the lead up even to the next federal election. Mark my words. Don't forget, Bill Shorten went to the last election just a few months ago promising a 50% renewable target for the nation. So I don't think this issue is going to go away in a hurry. Another one